Hey, everybody, welcome to Mockapalooza. This is actually technically episode 1 of Mockapalooza. I have inserted myself into the 1 slot in a mock draft, and my plan is to do 12 of these basically in a row. It's draft season. Everybody's doing their drafts. This is the Yahoo board that's probably going to be there when everybody's doing their drafts. So it's our job now to just show you one of everything. I'm going to do a draft from every single draft slot. I'm going to try to get them out over the next 3 days, but it's going to come down to timing. This is Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Welcome to the show. Old Man Squad is presented by FanDuel and a proud member of the Believe Podcast Network. I'm Dan Bespris. Please follow me on Twitter at Dan Bespris, where I do a lot of my loading and unloading during the season. I promise it is more interesting there on my social media once basketball games start to happen, because then we can react and make ads and drops in real time, where being the fastest to news is the biggest thing. As I've also mentioned before, I did start a Patreon. It's $1. Take it or leave it. It's not going to change basically anything that I'm doing right now. I've given myself another 2 full years to get a Patreon and podcast revenue up to a point where I can pay my childcare with just those. And if I get to that point, which I will, I'm quite confident, then we're good to go. But anyway, main point is everything you need is in the show description. My free Google Sheet with everything that I do. My ranks, all free in the Google Sheet. My schedule grid, all free. Yahoo ranks and tracking, ADP tracking, injury board, all that stuff completely free in the show description, in the Google Sheet. Go there. Tons of links to our partners that can get you ahead. Yeah. So anyway, I have the number 1 pick, and this is just going to be a nice exercise in seeing if I can get some of the targets that we've outlined for you guys at every spot in the draft and build them into a viable team altogether. This mock is starting in about 10 seconds. I'm only planning on going about 10 rounds deep because I want these shows to all be about 28 to 30 minutes long. I don't want them to be super long. I'm not going to do a 15 minutes of after the fact analysis. I have my pick now. I'm obviously going to take Nikola Jokic number 1. This is just to see, can we get the guys we're targeting near the top of the board? And if so, how successful? How do we build them all together? We're just going to see how it works from every spot. So you guys can try to do some of the same stuff in yours. I'm going to try some of the same stuff in mine because I have drafts coming up. I also think these are going to be harder because I'm posting these links on social media. So most of the people that are in these drafts are probably people that follow my work, meaning you're not going to get a ton of auto drafters in these mock drafts. You are going to get very knowledgeable fantasy basketball players, and this may actually be a harder draft to pull off than what you do against your friends in your home league, or if you're playing in a public prize league or something like that. I'm also going to read the picks as they go to the best of my ability. I'm not... we might miss some here and there. And again, once we get to the later parts, one thing that I want us to focus on is sort of when does the board start to not parallel who's getting taken, meaning first 4, 5, 6 rounds, you kind of know who's going. You don't know exactly where, but you got a pretty good idea of where. In one mock I did where I accidentally left my microphone off like an ass. No, it's on this time. It was right around pick 80 to 85 range where people started going way off board. And I'm very curious if that's a thing that happens consistently or if that was just a one-off, and we can start to figure that out as well. Your first round here, by the way, Jokic, me, Wemby, Luka, Shea was the top 4. We're always interested in a little bit there. Giannis 5, typically where that's his spot. Cade, Anthony Edwards, Trae Young, Devin Booker. Trae going at 8, kind of notable. Cat 10, Anthony Davis 11, Cooper Flag at 12, Andrew Nembhard at 13. All right, well, we got somebody sabotaging this one. That's not cool. All right, well, that's going to screw things up a little bit, but we'll do our best. Maybe somebody that just doesn't like me that's messing with it. Great. We're still putting it out. This guy just looks like an idiot and a jerk, and cool. Congratulations, guy. You took Andrew Nembhard at pick 13. James Harden went at 14. Steph Curry at 15. This is going to make the draft a tiny bit easier, but it's not going to change things that much. It's 1 to 2 extra guys that are on the board sort of per round. And at some point, we'll see what this Joker does at the next, third, fourth turn or whatever. But I think we'll be okay. Kevin Durant goes at 16, then Tyrese Maxey at 17. I'm going to flip it back to the players list so you guys can see kind of generally what I'm looking at towards the end of the second round. I'm assuming that Donovan Mitchell, Amen Thompson, and Evan Mobley are going to be off the board, but obviously I like Amen Thompson and Evan Mobley. I like Donovan Mitchell. If those guys are gone, which I think they will be for my pick at 24. Oh, Jalen Johnson just went at 19. He was going to be the next guy I would tell you to get. With all of those guys now seemingly gone, the next one on the list would be either a Jalen Williams or a Josh Giddey. I think we'll probably get at least one of those guys. Whoops, I accidentally put an asterisk or a star on the wrong guy. Well, I know we're going to get at least one of them because Mobley went 21 after Amen Thompson at 20. Şengün goes 22. And so we'll get at least one of Jalen Williams or Giddey, possibly both. And I know Jalen Williams is dealing with the hand thing. I'm not wildly concerned about it yet, but I am concerned enough where, and there goes Giddey. So now I think I'm definitely taking Jalen Williams with one of my picks, but now I sort of fall down a little bit further, and I don't really want these guys that are in front here. So it's going to be Jalen Williams, and then it's going to be someone from sort of mid third, meaning either Jamal Murray, Derek White, or Bam Adebayo would be the three. Jamal or Derek White are almost definitely the ones I'm looking at right now. I don't have a strong preference. If I go Jamal, I've got all Nuggets. So we'll go Derek White because I'm pretty much taking him in every third round that I can. And therein lies the rub. If you're in a draft with pretty knowledgeable dudes, you might not get the guy you want at 24. It's an actual legitimate downside to having the number one pick. You get such a huge head start. But if you're in a competitive league, the gap between pick 18 and 24 is pretty big right now. But I still got Jalen Williams. I still got Derek White. I'm not that upset about it. Domantas Sabonis comes off next. Everybody's a little worried about him. I have to admit, I didn't even see him. My eyes buzzed in my head. You could have taken Sabonis, but then I would have had two centers right out of the gate, and that would have been kind of weird. Same story for Chet Holmgren. I don't think he's the right pick there. I have a very well-rounded team so far. That's unquestionably what we got going on here. And while I have a minute before our next one, I was talking about all the things you can find in the show description. The show is also brought to you by our friends at Fantrax. And the link that we have there, our referral link, is in the show description. It's fantrax.com/oldmansquad. Great place to play fantasy sports. Just a great place to play fantasy sports. Give them a try. It's totally free. All you got to do is sign up. It takes you like 45 seconds. I see no downside to signing up. It doesn't cost you anything. So again, check that out. Fantrax.com/oldmansquad. And by FanDuel, so we talk about the Nuggets a lot. FanDuel, regular season win total on Denver, 53.5. I think Denver's going to be really, really good this year. So don't be floored if they go over that mark. And I think we got almost all of our partners in here. I got Fantrax. I got FanDuel. Told you about my $1 completely optional Patreon. Told you about the totally free Google Sheet. Yeah, man, I'm cooking. Let's see what the draft board looks like right now. We told you about the second round. After my Derek White pick, it went Domantas Sabonis at 26, then Scotty Barnes, 27, LaMelo Ball at 28, 29, Jaren Jackson Jr., 30, Jamal Murray, then Chet Holmgren at 31. Austin Reeves goes very early at 32, but all these guys know how much I love Austin Reeves. Bam Adebayo goes 33. Denny Avdia goes 34. Yeah, I mean, we're in the go get your guy mock draft here. This is very aggressive. But there's going to be the kind of flip side of this now, where all the guys that I've talked about the entire run up to the season are going to go a round and a half early. And someone that I had no business getting is going to fall 15 slots. And I didn't it's guys that I haven't talked about that much, but and I don't think Pascal Siakam's getting back to me at 48, but he's still on the board at 36. Jaylen Brown just came off. Kawhi Leonard just came off at 36. This is a head-to-head league, by the way, that we're mocking for. Cam Johnson, 37. Come on, guy. All right, well, that screwed things up by one more. What a turkey. Maybe this dude's just not using the queue properly. I don't mind them taking Kawhi at 36 because I would have taken him. All right, well, we got this one guy, this one joker having a good old time. But now it's coming back our way, and in a few picks, I'll start to make my queue. The only problem with doing a mock draft or hosting a live mock when you have a pick that is literally at one end of the board is that you have a lot of time to kill between selections. How are my standings looking? Does Yahoo think my team is pretty good? It does. Surprise, surprise. I have Nikola Jokic, so of course my team is good. I already forgot who I took in the second round. Oh, right, Jalen Williams. Games played is going to be the only if there. Should I have gone Jamal Murray over Derek White? I don't think it really matters. LeBron goes 38. Jalen Brunson goes 39. I really hope that people fly along here. Let's remember this is a mock, and I'd like to get it over with as fast as possible because my main goal here is seeing what guys are available at different junctures. And we learned something about the second, third round already in a very competitive mock draft. You might not get Jalen Johnson there. You might not get Josh Giddey there. You might have to be ready to go to your third round guys. And so that's what we did. I was ready to pivot. I actually think that this is the year I'm the most ready I've ever been for an actual real live draft. Last year, I did quite well in my drafts, but I spent so much time creating content that I didn't really have time to practice my content. It was all just like pouring over numbers and like, this is a guy I want here. This is a guy I want here. But then I wasn't like, I should go see if I can get these guys consistently where I think I can get them. Anywho, we're getting towards the end of the fourth round. Players are coming off the board. It's time for me to make a queue. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, Pascal Siakam is not a guy I was targeting, but he's almost still there at 48. I actually like the names at the top of the board here. Pascal at 48 would be great. Franz at 48 would be great. Paolo Banchero just came off after Zion and Kristaps Porzingis and Desmond Bane. These guys are all off the board. Like, one of these three guys is going to get to me, and they really shouldn't. Those guys should not be falling that far. And then it might be time for me to take a shot. Dyson Daniels goes 46. I'm going to get two of these three guys. Siakam gone, but I'll happily take Franz Wagner at 48 and Trey Murphy at 49. I don't need to take a shot here. I don't need to reach down for a Jalen Duren. I'll get my centers later. I got Nikola Jokic to start this thing off. My team is a juggernaut right now. There is absolutely no reason why those guys should fall that far, but that's the galaxy brain thing happening. We got so many dudes in this draft that have been studying the Dan Vespers draft board and making sure that they get the guys that they want. And then you fall into like the Zion punt team and whatever that like Franz Wagner at 48 and Trey Murphy at 49. That's harebrained. And De'Aaron Fox is still there. I don't like De'Aaron Fox, but at 50. Man. All right, well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you. That fourth round, by the way, if you're interested, I mentioned Jalen Brunson was 38, 39. Miles Turner was 40. Ivica Zubac's 41. Bane, 42. Porzingis, 43. Zion, 44. Totally makes sense. That's the Giannis team. That's exactly what you should do there. Paolo, I've lost track of the number here. Dyson Daniels at 46. Pascal Siakam at 47. That's a massive steal for that team at 47. Then my two guys. Fox at 50. Jalen Duren goes 51. John Morant goes 52. Love the team that I'm building in this mock right now. I don't even know what I'm good at. I just know that I took a bunch of players that I think are going to win. Like, I don't know what Jalen Williams when he gets healthy, but he's a top 20 guy. Jokic is a top 2 guy. Who the hell did I take in the third? Derek White. He's a top 25 guy. Franz Wagner is a top 35, 40 guy. Trey Murphy's a top 35 guy. These guys are giving me too many wins. Now, admittedly, I didn't get the big swing guys like the Austin Reeves or the Denny Avdia or whatever, but like, I don't need to if you're just going to gift me stuff. Meanwhile, the team that was screwing with us has now left the draft. So you always get one. And we'll just pretend that that team is the one team in your league that doesn't pay super close attention to basketball. There's always one. There's always one. Sometimes it's not by choice. Sometimes you have a draft time and there's a guy who's like, you know what, I'm going to set my pre-ranks and I can't be there. I'm sorry. I can't be there. And you're like, come on, man. Can you figure it out? And they're like, no, I can't do it. And then their pre-ranks are a little bit wonky, and it doesn't really adjust for what positions they need, and they end up with a really weird team. We're about 15 minutes into the show and about halfway through the part of the draft that I'm interested in. 50, 51, 52, Darius Garland, 53. Brandon Miller, 54. Kobe White, 55. That's pretty early on Kobe. Levine, 56. OG, 57. Again, like this is the Dan Besbris section here, and it's gonna punt somebody else way down the board. Miles Bridges goes 58. Jimmy Butler fell way too far, 59. That's a great steal. DeAndre Ayton goes 60. Jakob Poeltl, 61. And now we're caught up. And that team at the very end didn't do anything dumb here. So maybe it was just a missed button click. Sorry, Tony. I don't know. I don't know if you're screwing with us or if it's accidental stuff. In any event, Josh Hart at 62. Yeah, I don't understand that one. There's no reason to. He's so far down the board. Why are we lunging forward for Josh Hart? Vooch at 63. Not a guy I'm targeting. Peyton Pritchard, I like that one at 64. Rudy Gobert goes early at 65. But here we go again now. Someone's going to fall to me that shouldn't. Is DeMar going to fall to 72? I don't want DeMar DeRozan, but at 72, I do. Jared Allen's still on the board. This is craziness. We've jumped the shark a little bit in. Oh, there goes Jared Allen at 66. I referred to him as the fantasy weighted blanket. He's just so comfy. Joel Embiid goes at 67. Now we're finally catching up on these players that shouldn't be there. So I'll put DeRozan on my team if he gets there at 72. I'm not a big Brandon Ingram guy, although hard for me not to do it at 72. No. Walker Kessler would be hard for me not to do at 72. Whoops, clicked the wrong name. But if I don't get those guys, then we'll float down to the next chunk of names, which is, I mean, here's the thing. These dudes took all of my favorite 7th rounders and most of my favorite 6ths, but then there's like some 5ths that are still floating around. If we got to go farther down the board, we could go to Asar Thompson. There goes DeRozan finally at 70. Christian Brown is not bad in that neck of the woods. Donovan Clingan. Do I need another center? I've already forgotten if I took one. No, I'm still sitting on one, so we'll see. I got more names in the queue than I actually need right now. Lauri Markkanen is still there, but I mean, oh man, it's 72. He's so much better than that per game. There goes Kessler. I can't believe I might take Lauri Markkanen, but at 72, I almost have to. Yeah, I mean, we'll go 72, 73. I think I'll go Markkanen. And do I want Asar Thompson, Christian Brown, or Donovan Clingan? Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. We'll go Clingan. I mean, I've lost track of my actual team build. Well, Yahoo thinks I'm doing fine. Surely everything is fine then. So here's the thing. Like, normally, I end up with a risk player in the late 4th or early 5th. In this draft, because these guys all reached for their favorites / Dan Besbris favorites, that left extraordinarily safe guys for me in the 4th and 5th rounds. And so I was able to then take my risk at the end of the 6th round in Lauri Markkanen, who, look, I know he was bad last year, and I know Utah's going to be terrible, and I'm trying not to draft any Jazz this season, but Markkanen was not Markkanen last year. He wasn't healthy. They didn't let him play. Like, we're talking about a guy that for multiple seasons before last year was a top 25 guy. Like, he was a beast in Utah and forgot how to shoot. Do you think that that's a thing that just happened year over year, that he went from being a high 40s field goal guy to like 42? He just wasn't involved, but they got rid of everybody else that touches the basketball. Sexton's gone. Clarkson's gone. Collins is gone. Colin Sexton took 14 shots. John Collins took 13. Clarkson took 13. You put 40 shots back in the bucket. Markkanen's going to get his 17, 18 shots a game. Like he did the year before. He was taking 16, and he was putting up top 20 numbers. If you don't have any risks on your board, and Markkanen gets to you in the 70s, you have to do it. I don't remember where I put him on my my buckets list, but where are you, Larry? I gotta search the buckets. There he is. Yeah, I actually have him in the 65 to 70 range. And so he fell to me at 72. Have to do it. You have to do it. In any event. Wrapping up the 7th round now. I'm hoping that we can keep this sucker rolling along. And, I mean, I've largely gotten guys that I'm excited about. How did that look? 6th round, I think we stopped talking at Rudy Gobert at 65. So Allen 66, Embiid 67. Mark Williams, that's too early for him at 68 if he's not healthy yet. Ingram at 69, DeRozan 70, Kessler 71, Markkanen and Donovan Clingan for me, 72, 73. Julius Randle 74, Asar Thompson 75, Modest Bazelis 76. I think that's too early. Shaden Sharp 77, maybe for points leagues. Quickly 78, Hartenstein 79, Mathurin 80. Jordan Poole, 81. Onyeka Okongwu, 82. That's pretty early to see him go off the board. Daniel Gafford at 83? That feels like a misclick. Someone's lost their minds. John Collins finishes off that round at 84, then Aldama at 85. So now that dude looks like he knows what he's doing. So I think there must have been some kind of weird misclick there. I appreciate, Tony, I appreciate you sticking out the draft even after taking a wet dump on your first 2 picks. MPJ goes 86. Mikal Bridges, 87. Alex Sarr, 88. And now I have to start getting myself ready again. For there are 7 picks till my turn. And Khalil Ware goes at 89. I got to start getting myself ready. So this is where you start to see anybody go anywhere. We saw it more so in this one, but it was like a little more directed. You knew who was coming off. It was people that I've been talking about a lot. Top of the board is ugly. Christian Braun is the one name I'm looking at here near the top of the board. Otherwise, I'm going to scroll down and start looking at not flyer types necessarily, but guys that I think are ready to take a nice little jump. Lack of guards on this team. not on purpose. Things keep falling into my lap. I don't think I want these guards, though. How far down am I willing to go in this mess? There goes KPJ. So, yeah, I mean, now I'm staring down the barrel of maybe not having a particularly balanced ball club, but I also kind of don't care. Because I like Derek Lively here. I like Eason here. The fact that Christian Braun is still on the board, I like. I don't much care for these guys up at the top. Simons, Beal, Cam Thomas, Jalen Suggs. Paul George off the board. I can't believe Christian Braun's still out there, but I got to figure out what I want to do with the other pick I've got. Is it time for me to go deep diving, or do I see what gets back to me? Maybe, I mean, this is the first mock we're putting out. We're going to do all 12 slots. Maybe this is one to see who gets back to me at the end of the 10th round. Might be nobody. If it is, screw it. I'll do something else. So I'm gonna. Oh, there goes Christian Braun. So I literally no one in my queue right now. Derek Lively, I like. I don't want to reach too far down the board because I think it's going to screw things up, and I kind of want to see who comes back to me. These are not my top 2 guys in this range, so don't read too much into this stuff. We'll go Lively, and we'll go Eason. My team is very weird all of a sudden. Very big heavy. But I really want to see the names that return to me. So this is the part of the draft where for mock drafts, I wouldn't do this in a real one. In a real one, I like to follow along with each individual moment. But we're going to get to the part where it's like, who the hell cares at this particular part? Before I do that, please, everybody, subscribe. Subscribe now so you get to see the next 11 of these that I'm going to do rapid fire on the YouTube page. We've also got stuff from Kingy, Noah coming out on the YouTube page, Matty G as well. And then Keith, if you follow him football, we got football on the YouTube page as well. Please do, again, check that show description. There's so many links in there for you guys, not just limited to the Patreon, but the Google Sheet and Fantrax and the HOF app and FanDuel and iTunes and Spotify and everything else, that my Twitter and the dudes that made the music for the show, my guy Slick Rock. It's awesome over there. So here, what I'm going to do now, while I'm waiting on it looping all the way back to my 10th round pick, we're just going to go through the board, and I'm going to put a star on any player that I would consider at this part of the draft. And obviously, if someone like Anthony Simons got back to me at pick 120, I would take him. Same story with Beal, Suggs, Vassell. So these top four guys, like, yes, obviously I would take them if they got back to me, but I don't expect that they will. They're being passed over by everyone. Also, by the way, before I go through this exercise, it's worth pointing out that Tumani Kamara just went at pick 101. So you got Dan Besbris people in here when that's happening. Okay, so let's do some asterisking. Let's do some queuing. After you get past the top 100, the guys I would look at are Wiggins, Keegan Murray, and I know he's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks to start the year, but I think he's going to have a really, really, really good season. Nikola Jovic is kind of in the next grouping, but we'll put him in there just so you guys can see it. And I'll sort the queue so you guys get a better idea. Dante DiVincenzo, Tobias Harris. These are all guys that I would consider. Bobby Portis just came off the board, but he was going to be one of them. Zach Edey is another hurt guy. You really can't do two of them. Herb Jones, Brandon Pajemski are two that I would look at. Keyshawn George is also kind of in the next tier down. There goes Herb. Curse you, Dan Besbris followers. Cason Wallace at 138 as we continue to scroll through it. And I'm going to do this at the end of all of these mocks. You guys can see Aaron Nesmith, Isaiah Jackson at 144 and 145. I'm putting in my queue. Nimiyesh Keita at 160. He's on the queue. There's a few more. Cam Whitmore, 168. Taylor Hendricks is one tier down, but he's in the queue. Sam Hauser also one tier down at 177. Alex Caruso's 2 tiers down. He's a last resort. Kelly Oubre, he's one of my top flyers, and he's all the way down at 188. Although it sounds like Embiid and Paul George might be a little closer than we thought, so might not be my top flyer anymore. And then Al Horford down at 213 if you think he sees enough time with the Warriors. So now let's make the queue bigger so everybody can see all these names. I will move. Actually, I think the guys that I was planning on moving lower already went off the board. Someone take Taylor Hendricks. Oh no, there he is. So Hendricks is down in this lower queue. Caruso, whoopsies, he's down in this lower queue. Hauser's down in the lower one. Whitmore is down in the lower one. And, I mean, that's close. Oh, Keyshawn George is down also closer to the bottom. I don't know why it's highlighting. That's very annoying. But, like, look, if Beal got back or Vassell got back or Wiggins got back to me, those would be the guys I would take first here. If they don't, then you get into this Keegan Murray, DiVincenzo, sometimes Kamara, not there. Tobias, Pajemski. There goes Pods off the board. So, again, I'm not, like, overly concerned with what actually happens in this mock draft. Clearly, my team is low on guards at the moment, so I may not have a choice but to take a few guards. And luckily, plenty of these guys are guard eligible. Not all of them, but plenty. But again, yeah, I'm at the point now in a draft where it's not about who I can put where. I literally have one player on my team that's guard eligible. Oopsies. I guess if I had known that was going to happen, I might have passed over Derek Lively and Tari Eason and taken a guard. But again, I wanted to see who got back to me at pick 120. And after we find that out, we're going to pull the pin on this little grenade, and we'll get ready for slot 2 mock draft. And I'm going to try to get these out a billion times. Is it coming back to me? Come on, guys. A couple more picks, and then we can get to the next one. I want to get so many of these out. They're going to be running and running and running. I want to do 3 to 4 a day. We got to get them all out real fast because everybody's doing their drafts right now. It's important that they don't go more than half an hour so I can record, 1 to 2 an hour. You guys need it. I need it to get myself ready. I want to get through all 12. I don't know what my draft slot is in a few of the leagues I'm in. and I'm in some Yahoo leagues. I won't know the draft slot in those until 30 minutes before game time. All right, so most of the guys I was looking for got back to me. Beal and Vassell came off here almost at the last minute, which is pretty crazy. I don't want those guys, but like Vassell's there at 120. I'm going to take him. RJ Barrett goes at 119, and I badly need guards. So obviously I'm going to take DiVincenzo here. Under normal circumstances, I would probably take a shot on... Well, actually, the fact that Andrew Wiggins is still there at 121, I'll take him there. So I'm going to wrap it up now. You guys don't need to know what happens from this point on. I will zoom out a little bit so everybody can see the last few rounds of the draft board just for 10, 15 seconds while we wrap up. Good news is I'm going to post these results. Actually, Yahoo doesn't give you the whole pretty graphic, so I can't show all the results, but I'll post my team that I drafted. I'll just let everybody know only the first 11 rounds I was actually a part of. But you can see the really nice thing here is we've done all these shows where I've told you the column of players you can look at in the front end of a draft, and we got guys in most of it. But in this one, guys that we weren't thinking about fell 15, 20 slots. They became part of our strategy. Pretty cool, actually, to be ready for anything. Be ready for anything. We didn't get a lot of our targets in this draft, not a ton of them. Obviously, Nikola Jokic and Derek White was a target. But after that, I mean, this is not a typical Dan Besbris team because Franz fell. I have him as a very safe pick, like end third, early fourth. Trey Murphy, I like a lot at the end of the third. And we got him at the start of the fifth. I didn't think he was going to be there. I thought we were going to have to go to my show where I was like, here are the guys that are usually there at the end of the fourth round. Well, they went 10 spots earlier, and we got somebody that I'm usually looking at the end of the third round. In any event, like, rate, subscribe, please, so you get the next 11 mock draft shows. Follow me on Twitter at Dan Besbris. I'll see you guys on social media. Thanks for anything you can do to any of our sponsors. Fantrax, FanDuel, Hall of Fame app, or my Patreon, whatever, totally fine. Just check them out. Fantrax in particular, just sign up for an account. That's all I'm asking you to do over there. And we'll see you guys for the next month. Bye, guys.